So, in this video, we're going to explore your wants in life. We're going to show you the different categories of wants, the differences between these wants, and aligning these wants to your purpose in life. You see, when I first did the Make It Happen workshop, I still clearly remember our first exercise. Our mentor told us that all of us have wants in our life, and they can be categorized into needs, desires, and goals. He then told us to take a pen and a piece of paper and to write down our wants. Before I share with you our experience, why don't you try out this exercise? So first, write your needs, next your desires, and then your goals. Go ahead and try it. As we told you, this video series is just not theory based, but hands-on as well. So don't do it later or procrastinate about it. Do it now. Go ahead. Pause the video and do the exercise. You see, I pretty much believe you experienced the same thing I and the others did. When we first started writing our needs, we were just scribbling away. Next, when we were told to write our desires, most of us were confused. We were just struggling to write further. We were not sure if the needs that we had written before were desires or the desires that we had written were needs. When we were told to write our goals next, we just dropped our pens and were totally lost. Basically, we did not know the difference between needs, desires, and goals. How about you go ahead and try this? Pause the video and write down the differences between each of these wants. You see, this is the beautiful aspect of Make It Happen. It deals with the subtle points of life that not many other self-development workshops deal with. Most self-development workshops talk about goal setting, but not one of them have delved into the meaning of a goal and the difference between that as to a desire or a need. Let's now explore each of these wants and see the difference between them. Let's start off first with needs. Needs basically are wants that are essential for our survival. These include our basic necessities like clothing, shelter, and food. At times, these needs may differ between individuals according to their geography. For example, those living in cities by the river like Venice would need river transport like boats and ferries to go to work to feed their families. Eskimos, on the other hand, require igloos and thick winter clothing to live in the cold as compared to others living in a tropical country. Needs are usually fewer than we think, and most importantly, remain unchanged throughout our whole lives. Now, let's take a look at desires now that we have defined needs. Desires, on the other hand, cause mental agitations. They promise happiness, but however, only for the short term. They usually arise from a sense of incompleteness. That feeling of when I get what I want, I will feel better, or I will feel complete, arises all from a sense of incompleteness. The important point to note about desires is that strong desires can become needs, and finally our dependencies. You would agree with me that there has been instances when you would have heard others say, I need to have coffee the first thing when I wake up in the morning, or I need to have chocolates every day. You can see how these desires have become so strong that they ingrain in us as dependencies and become our needs. Alright, next, let's define goals. Goals, when achieved, give long-term benefits not only to the individual but also usually to others around them as well. Through the process of achieving goals, we transform ourselves and others around. Goals are much fewer in number than we think when we start to contemplate upon them along these lines. Goals are much longer term in nature, and usually it's the journey in achieving them that produces the transformation and the long-term benefits in us and others. Alright, now that we have looked at the differences between these wands, let's take a look at an example of how we can align these wands. Let's start from the top and work backwards. Let's say I have a goal to build a hospital. My secondary goals to get there could be that I would first have to become a doctor, then find investors to fund the building, and probably also to have some kind of passive cash flow investments to provide the capital to build a hospital. However, from time to time, to get to the goal, we may be distracted by desires. Desires are hard to be dropped, but however, they can be channeled towards the goal. For example, if you want to socialize and take a break from your busy schedule so that you do not get burnt out, you can go to parties or gatherings where there are like-minded people like entrepreneurs, investors, etc. in this example, who will help you towards your goal of building that hospital. So now you are having a mix of fun but still working towards your goal. Last but not least, your needs to get to your goal would be to have knowledge of medicine and to get a medicine degree. In terms of shelter, a conducive place to study, and also healthy food to keep you always aware and alert and be a role model to your patients. Now, you can see how you can align your wants and channel your actions and energy in a single pointed direction towards your common vision or goal. Clarity is power, and this is what I got from the Make It Happen workshop through this and many more exercises and activities. And I'm very glad that you have given me this opportunity to share this particular experience with you. This is what makes Make It Happen really unique. It tackles the subtleties in life that we usually overlook and gives us a clear and precise direction to head. More of this kind of experiences in our next video. For now, let's do a quick recap of what we have learned so far. Right, so first we looked at our wants, which can be categorized as needs, desires, and goals. Then we looked at the differences between them, and we saw goals as longer term in nature, and not only do they transform us, but others around us as well. Then using examples, we saw how we can align these wants towards a common vision or goal, such that we become single-pointed and clear to make it happen. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. In our next video, we will show you how you can find out what is it you want to make it happen by finding your true nature and your true passion in life. Till then, live with passion and make it happen.